favorite scary movie.
I know what you did last summer.
I know what you did last Halloween. Crap.
Summer.
Crap, wrong movie. I Know What You Did Last Summer was one of the many Scream knockoffs, rip-offs, call them whatever you want, but this was actually pretty solid, I gotta say. Like, there was a lot of ones that came off of the Scream success. Like this one, Urban Legend, which I'm going to be covering in a couple of days. And this is the one that not only I feel like succeeded in being its own thing, but it also had I still know what you did last summer, and I'll always know what you did last
And a
summer.
third one coming up.
Yeah, called I'll Forever Know What You Did Last Summer, if my memory serves me right on that one. But it's a very confusing title. But as far as I know what you did last summer,
All right, so I have a story because you have to have a good story when you see a movie. Everybody got a story about every movie.
sure.
Um, so I was not allowed to watch this movie when it came out, okay? Because I was young when this movie came out. Like when it hit, like it was on like ABC Family back when it was known as ABC Family, and so I literally had to sneak and watch it. Like, it was on ABC Family, and I just remember you see the first 10 minutes, just the guy flipping a coin, and you see like the fisherman hook, the fisherman hook, store, and you see like that poster of that fisherman with a hook, and you're just like, oh, it's scary. And so I just remember watching it for the first time, and I was kind of bummed because I'm like, this is not scary. This is just like a guy going around, like just like chasing after them. But I mean, I watched it again, I'm like, this is actually really good. And then you get to watch it over and over throughout the years. And so I like it. I think it's one of those movies where if you're expecting, like, for instance, Scream is a great movie. You can watch it once and then love it. I think, especially me and Jacob Martin did a watch along on this movie last year. And I always remember I love this movie so much. And Jacob Martin was kind of bummed because he said, because the idea is it was marketed like, oh, a whodunit. And so you're expecting like a Scream type of movie. You're expecting, oh, it's one of them as the fisherman. And that's not the case at all. And
No,
so I think
honestly, the big twist at the end is not necessarily like disappointing for me, but it's not what you would expect. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I won't spoil it here. But
but
it
it's based on a book too. I know what you
yes,
did also.
book of the same name. It tells the story of four teenagers who, while after a wild night of partying, are driving home and they hit somebody or something with their car. Instead of doing the right thing and calling the cops because they've been drinking and everyone's going to assume, up DUI city, they make a pact to never speak of this again and they dump the body in the river. Cut to a year later, all four of the teens are worse for wear. And then just when things can't get any worse for them, they start getting notes saying, I know what you did last summer. And they are being stalked by a villain quite simply known as the Fisherman. And this is really a who's who of like the mid to late 90s. Like,
Freddie Prince Jr.,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Freddie Prinze Jr. is in this movie. Jennifer
Sarah
Love
Michelle
Hewitt.
Gellar,
Uh,
his wife.
yep. They
This is
actually,
where they met and married, I think.
that's what I was trying to say. I was stumbling over my words, but yeah, they met here and they got married here. And Ryan Felipe, who was in Cruel
Cruel Intentions with
Intentions,
Sarah Michelle.
yeah. So it's really like you're getting a cross section. The movie kind of acts as a bit of a time capsule of who was big in like the mid to late 90s because all these people would go on to some level of success. Some of them were successful before this, but they would go on to success after this. Like Freddie Prinze Jr. would be Fred in the James Gunn written Harry Potter. James Gunn
That's a Harry Potter. He was not in Harry Potter.
No, I know.
Oh, look, guys, I'm Harry Potter.
I
Guys,
know. I
guys, I'm Harry Potter, all right? Voldemort, come on, let's go. Let's go.
the
Are you sure this is a little boy?
the James Gunn Scooby-Doo movies, my bad. And Sarah Michelle Gellar would also be Daphne in those movies. And
She was also Buffy at the time as well.
that's
Like, this
correct.
is why she was so successful, Buffy. And Jennifer Love Hewitt was in Party of Five.
and she would go on to be, and I believe it's called The Ghost Whisperer.
Yeah, and now she's on 911.
Yeah, she's done a lot of TV. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But
Ryan Felipe was what else he did? He did a couple of big movies. Like he did like I think Shooter. Or no, it was not Shooter, but what movie was it? I know he was great in The Lincoln Lawyer.
are we talking about the Matthew McConaughey movie?
There's only one Lincoln Lawyer, isn't there?
Well, there's also a Lincoln Lawyer series on Netflix.
Oh, there is. I did not know that. I thought it was only the Matthew McConaughey film.
No,
But yeah,
but
he's great.
Felipe's been in Gosford Park and Crash and Lincoln Lawyer.
Crash, that's the was Crash. I was thinking there's like something big he did. Crash, yeah, where he was the cop that did not try to sexually assault Theodore Newton.
Long
Yeah,
story short, all of these people would go on to success after this. And I really, like you were talking about, this is not necessarily a whodunit. It is a little bit, but it's a
it plays
whodunit.
that game of who is it, but it's not really. It is more or less like straightforward. There's someone after them story. But
Yeah,
then they kind of like the game plays like, oh, because you have like Johnny Galecki who plays Leonard in The Big Bang Theory. We go on, who was on Roseanne, would go on to play Leonard in The Big Bang Theory. He's in this, and they're like, he's a suspect. Oh, is he the one sending us notes? And then you have like, is it the person we killed? And just stuff like that, to where I know some people were even confused on how this happened. Like, okay, well, so the guy they throw in the water, is that the one that's after him? And then they're like, it kind of is and isn't, just like, and so like that's what Dead Meat, when he was doing the kill count in this movie, he had to explain it because like some people will say are confused of how what is happening, and so he had to explain, like, some people are confused by like the big twist, and they're like, so he had to explain the whole thing because it's laid out there, but like you have to watch it several times before you're kind of like, oh, I see it now, the big picture, because you're like, okay, so basically this guy, and so like, I like the movie. I mean, yes, it could be like it's a more simpler story. Like Scream is like, like, okay, like Sydney's mother was a hoe for show, and basically Billy Loomis's dad was getting some, and then Billy Loomis went crazy because the mom left him because of that, and then he went and said, "I'm going to kill your mom," and then he fought to kill Sydney, to get back on her, to frame it all in the dad. That's a simple story, even though I just had to over explain it. But I know you did last summer. Kind of, it has a similar premise of like about a love story, but then just the whole thing, like, I won't go into because I really want people to watch the movie, because I don't want to just. But this movie, though, I will say I do have some issues with it, but it's not because of the story. Like Jennifer Love Hewitt, okay, I think Sarah Michelle Gellar was 100 times better in this movie than she was. I think they should have made Sarah Michelle Gellar the lead and Jennifer Love Hewitt the secondary character.
I agree. Her father dies, and it's kind of given one mention and then never mentioned again. And I feel like that could have been done a little more with it. Sarah Michelle Gellar's character, she is in a bit of a feud with her sister also. I thought that was way more interesting.
Also, she wanted to be a beauty. She was literally, I'm going to do something with my life because she just won a beauty pageant or whatever. And she goes, I'm going to move away and become famous. Instead, she's just working at her sister's store. And she really is just like basically like the beauty queen, like the ideology of the beauty queen that never leaves the town, that just becomes a nobody, like the
Pretty
prom
much.
queen. And I like that idea. That like she has a much better, like she I think has more screen time than Jennifer Love Hewitt even. And like she is more compelling as a character. Like honestly, they really, and Jennifer Love Hewitt kind of plays it one note in a way where she's just like when she's acting. I mean, I'm not trying to upset anybody about her acting. I don't think she's a bad actress at all. I just think in this role she plays it one note where Sarah Michelle Gellar plays the role better, because Sarah Michelle Gellar, I actually feel like she's trying a little harder in this one than Jennifer Love Hewitt's character, where she's just like, yeah, I'm sad.
With the
Yeah, like,
exception of the one scene where Love Hewitt's like, well, like,
what do you want? Which that scene wasn't even directed by the director of the movie either.
that
Like
was directed by a
literally,
child, right?
it was a child. Like it was a child wanting to be on the thing. Yeah. By the way, the backstory is a child won the trivia contest or contest, whatever it be, to direct one scene, and I know you did last summer. And so the child was like, just say you should just put your arms up, like, what are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for? And then they It showed that they kept it in the movie. To which I'm like, that kid's always going to remember that scene, like as an adult, going, and that kid was J.J. Abrams. No, I'm joking. That part I'm joking about. Was like, that would have been funny if that wasn't true, but no, that wasn't true. It was like but some kid literally directed that scene and was like, "You see that scene? That kid's gonna be an adult watching this movie, going, you see that scene right there? I directed that part." Jennifer Love Hewitt's like, "What are you waiting for?" Even though it makes no fucking sense at all in the movie, it's like, "What are you waiting for, huh?" I still to this day think the funniest shit ever is when she's just like, that is the only time she goes from like a 2 to like a 9 into like you went from a 2 to like an 11. Okay, you need to go like like lower. Like Sarah Michelle Gellar, like I just feel like she's so much better in this movie, and it really sucks because her character does not have much. Like her character has more to do, but like she doesn't like I think she should have been the lead. And I'm not trying to go into spoilers what happens in the movie. I do like that. I do like that, that the movie does have like this idea of like the town being like, I like this, a small town, like, and it's not really like, it's more of like a, like a small town that's like, what kind of city? I forget what it's in, like New England. Is it New England or is it
It,
Maine?
it, I think it was North Carolina. I heard something related to the Mid-Atlantic. But I do love the look of this town. There's something about small towns and horror films that I pop for. I just do.
And I do like that, like the only thing is there's some scenes like where the fisherman runs him down in his car. And then I'm like thinking when he's in a run, Ryan Phillippe's running, he's like, I'm like, dude, zigzag. Don't like it's a car. You're little like compared to the car. I hate when they always try to run in like a pattern. I'm like, you're giving him the option to kill you. Don't give him the option. Literally, zigzag. Go like this. Run on the curve. He cannot go on the curve. Literally, he can't. There's no way he can get on that curve with that car.
No.
Okay? Look,
But
if somebody comes at me, I'm running this way. They can't go. They can't chase me.
exactly. But to put the period at the end of the sentence on this one, I think of all of the post-Scream movies, the ones that came spun off as a result of this one. I think this is one of the better ones. It helps that it was written by Kevin D. Williamson, so that certainly helps the movie in that regard. It gets a little confusing about who's doing what and why, but I think it's pretty strong overall. I haven't seen I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. I hear
Oh,
it's
there's a great movie. That's a great sequel. I mean, Jack Black is in it. He plays a Jamaican with a white Jamaican with dreadlocks and an accent.
but I can't wait to talk about that one when I do a Scary Mania on sequels and remakes. But I pass it off to all of you watching. What did you all think of I Know What You Did Last Summer? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to read what you have to say.